As we age, relationships evolve. They shift in subtle ways we don't always notice until the cracks become too wide to ignore. But what happens when a wife, after decades of marriage, starts to feel distant from her husband? What causes a woman who once admired her partner to slowly pull away, the spark fading, replaced by indifference? It's a reality many couples face, but few talk about: the slow erosion of affection, the quiet changes in behavior, the silent frustrations that build over time. It doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of years of unmet needs, unspoken words, and overlooked moments. And the reasons aren't always what you'd expect. It's not necessarily about falling out of love. It's about realizing what love should be, often tied to practical, grounded truths. Today, we're diving into why women, as they grow older, start feeling differently about their husbands, and what can be done to turn things around before it's too late. Whether you're a husband, a wife, or just someone curious about long-term relationships, stick with me. This might change how you see love, aging, and marriage forever. The weight of emotional labor. For years, many women take on the role of emotional caretaker in their marriages. They're the ones remembering birthdays, planning family gatherings, scheduling doctor's appointments, and keeping the household running. But as they age, they start to feel the toll of this invisible work. Here's the harsh truth: most men don't even realize it's happening. Women begin to feel like they're carrying the marriage on their shoulders while their husbands simply coast along. It's not about resentment at first, it's exhaustion. She's tired of being the glue holding everything together, and when that fatigue sets in, the emotional distance grows. Take Sarah, for example. After 35 years of marriage, she found herself planning every holiday, every anniversary, every little detail of their life together, while her husband, Tom, sat back and enjoyed the ride. She didn't mind at first. It felt natural. But by her late 60s, she started asking herself, why am I still doing this alone? The love didn't vanish, but the connection did. She felt less like a partner and more like a manager. The death of meaningful communication. In the early years, conversations are electric. How was your day? What's on your mind? Tell me about your dreams. But over time, many husbands stop engaging in those deep, meaningful talks. Dialogue turns predictable, small talk about the weather or what's for dinner, or worse, it disappears entirely. For a woman craving emotional intimacy, this is a slow starvation. She wants companionship, not just coexistence. Without it, she feels unseen, unheard, and unvalued. Imagine Lisa. Married for 40 years. She used to love how her husband, Mike, would ask about her day and listen, really listen. But as the decades passed, he stopped asking. Their evenings became silent, punctuated only by the TV. She tried to start conversations, but his one-word answers left her feeling foolish for trying. Eventually, she stopped too. The silence wasn't peaceful, it was lonely. The endless burden of housework. Studies show that even today, women handle most household chores, even after retirement. What starts as minor annoyances, dirty dishes in the sink, laundry left unfolded, turns into deep-seated resentment over time. As women age, they grow tired of it. They wonder why, after all these years, they're still picking up the slack. It's not just about the tasks, it's about what they represent: a lack of partnership. Consider Jane. At 70, she was still vacuuming, cooking, and tidying up while her husband, Bill, read the paper. She'd hinted for years that she wanted help, but he never picked up on it. One day, she stopped asking and stopped caring. The dishes piled up, and so did her frustration. She didn't leave him, but she withdrew emotionally. The housework wasn't the problem, it was the symbol of a marriage that felt one-sided. Growing apart, not together. As women age, many seek personal growth. They want to travel, learn new skills, engage with the world. But if their husbands refuse to grow alongside them, they feel stuck, like they're outpacing the marriage itself. When a woman feels she's evolving while her partner stagnates, the emotional gap widens. Take Ellen, who, at 65, decided she wanted to take painting classes and travel to Europe. Her husband, Dave, dismissed it as a phase and stayed home watching sports. She went alone, and with each trip, she felt more alive and more detached from him. She wasn't angry. She was just moving forward while he stayed behind. The loss of physical and emotional intimacy. Intimacy isn't just about sex, it's about feeling connected, desired, and close. Over time, many couples lose this spark. For a woman, that loss can feel like proof the love itself is fading. If she no longer feels wanted, if her husband stops looking at her the way he once did, she starts to pull away emotionally. Maria and John had been married for 45 years. In their younger days, a simple touch or a lingering glance kept them tethered. But by their 70s, those moments were gone. John didn't initiate affection anymore, and Maria stopped expecting it. She didn't need grand gestures, just a sign he still saw her. Without it, she felt like a roommate, not a wife. Retirement. A double-edged sword. Retirement is supposed to be the golden chapter, time to relax, travel, and enjoy each other. But for many couples, it's a pressure cooker. Suddenly, they're together 24/7. And some men struggle to adapt. They go from full-time jobs to full-time nothing with no plan or purpose. Too often, the wife becomes their default entertainment committee, expected to fill their days, keep them company, and cater to their needs. It's overwhelming for a woman who's spent decades managing responsibilities. Instead of freedom, she feels suffocated. Look at Carol and Ed. When Ed retired at 67, he had no hobbies, no routine, just endless hours to fill. Carol, who'd looked forward to quiet mornings and solo projects, suddenly had him trailing her around the house, asking what was next. She didn't sign up for this. Retirement, meant to bring them closer, pushed her further away. Feeling invisible. One of the deepest wounds in a marriage isn't fighting, it's feeling invisible. After years of being the emotional backbone, many women hit a point where their voice no longer seems to matter. They share concerns, express feelings, try to connect, but their husbands don't truly hear them. A wife doesn't need grand gestures, she needs to feel valued. When that stops, she withdraws. And once she does, it's hard to come back. Take Susan. At 68, she told her husband, Paul, she felt lonely in their marriage. He nodded, said, "I'm sorry," and went back to his book. She tried again months later, same response. Eventually, she stopped trying. She didn't yell or leave, she just retreated into herself. The love didn't die, it was buried under years of being ignored. Realizing life is short. As we age, life's fragility becomes real. Friends pass away, funerals pile up, and time feels precious. For many women, this shift prompts hard questions. Am I happy? Do I feel loved? Is this how I want to spend my remaining years? If the answers don't satisfy her, she pulls back, not out of anger, but self-preservation. She stops fighting, nagging, or begging for attention. She focuses on her own joy. And if her husband doesn't step up, she drifts away emotionally and sometimes physically. Linda, at 72, lost her best friend to cancer. It hit her hard. Life was fleeting. She looked at her husband, Mark, and realized she'd spent decades feeling unappreciated. She didn't want a divorce, just a life that felt full. So she started volunteering, joined a book club, and found happiness outside their marriage. Mark didn't notice until it was too late. Rekindling the flame. So why does a woman, after decades of marriage, start to drift? It's rarely because she stops loving her husband. It's because she stops feeling valued. Love doesn't vanish in a dramatic blaze. It fades in small, unnoticed moments, when she's unheard, overburdened, or taken for granted. But it doesn't have to end that way. Love is a choice, and what fades can be reignited. For husbands reading this, when was the last time you truly listened to your wife? Not just nodded along, but heard her? When did you last show her she's not just your partner, but a person you cherish? Small acts, asking about her day, pitching in without being asked. Planning a moment just for her can shift everything. For wives feeling disconnected, is there still room to rebuild? Can you voice what you need, not as a demand, but an invitation? Marriage isn't a destination, it's a journey of choosing each other, even as the years change you. It's saying, I still see you. I still value you. You still matter. Tom, from earlier. Notice Sarah's distance. One day, he asked her to sit down and talk, not about logistics, but about them. She was hesitant, but he persisted. He started helping with the planning, listening more, showing up. It wasn't instant, but over months, the gap closed. They chose each other again. Love doesn't die with age, it dies when we stop nurturing it. If you want your relationship to thrive in your later years, it's never too late to start. Choose love. Choose understanding. Choose each other. Because in the end, relationships aren't about grand romance. They're about the quiet, steady presence of someone who says, I'm here and you're enough.